Hello, everyone. It's Mr. G again, and I'm back this week with more critical thinking. Last week, we discussed what critical thinking is, why we use it, how we use it, and we also played a couple games and we did a couple questions that involved critical thinking. As we already know, critical thinking is a big part of school and our everyday lives. We use critical thinking all the time when talking to our friends, our family, our teachers. We're always using critical thinking. Critical thinking helps us solve problems, it helps us put things together when we don't understand. It also helps us make sense of things. But critical thinking, it also has to do with our memory and things like that. But it goes beyond memory, helping us connect the dots between concepts, solving problems, thinking creatively, and applying knowledge. And today, we're going to explore these things on how critical thinking goes beyond these topics. But first, I'm going to tell you 4 ways to teach critical thinking. Our first way is to ask questions. Asking questions will help us build our knowledge and better understand. If we never ask questions, we will never understand what someone is trying to say to us or what an author is trying to say in a book. When we're reading, sometimes we just have to sit there and ask, why did the author write this? Or why is it written like that? Or maybe you want to ask, how is this going to turn out at the end of the story? Sometimes asking open-ended questions really help us better understand the book or better understand what is being said to us as a reader when we're reading a book. But other than reading, asking questions helps us understand what people are saying. When we're talking to our friends, if our friends say something that we don't understand, we can ask the question, can you explain that to me again so I can better understand? And if they explain it to you again, we can tend to better understand things. Next is decision making. And decision making helps us use our knowledge to learn about different situations and weigh the pros and cons. When it comes to decision making, we use this mostly every day. When you wake up in the morning, you decide what you want for breakfast. I know I did that this morning. I woke up and said, do I want eggs or do I want waffles? And then you tend to weigh the pros and cons. The pros was waffles, it's sweet, but it does take longer to make, which was a con. Eggs, the pro for eggs was it's faster and I can be able to get my breakfast faster. Cons is it wasn't really going to fill me up for breakfast. Pros and cons help us every day when it comes to making our decisions. In decision making, it's a big part of critical thinking. Next is working in groups. Now you may wonder why working in groups is a part of critical thinking, but working in groups is good because it exposes us to expand our thought process with others. When we're working with others in a group, we're not just listening to what we want and what we want to do, we're also listening to others and what other people have to say. And that helps us expand our thought process because we have to stop and not just listen to our opinions, but we also have to listen to what everyone else in the group wants. And then we have to work together to make everyone in the group happy so that no one is like, I don't like that idea. When you're working in a group, you want to make everyone happy, not just yourself. Next is point of view. And you may also hear me say POV. That means point of view. Point of view helps us see things from others' perspectives. Point of view. Everyone has a point of view. And point of view is also tied with working in groups. When you say something and someone else says something in a group, that's both your point of views and your perspective of something. If we're talking about the topic of dogs, and someone says, dogs are big, you may say, no, dogs are small. We each had our own perspective. I think dogs are big because I may have a big dog at home. You may think dogs are small because you may have a small dog. And that's where point of view comes into play with critical thinking. And it's a big part of critical thinking. The four things that I just said today are just simple in a couple ways to involve critical thinking. There are way more ways that you can involve critical thinking and teach critical thinking. And as the weeks go on, we will discuss those too. Now, we are going to play 2 critical thinking games. One we did play last week, which was fact or opinion. And fact and opinion was a great way to get our minds working and to think about if something was a fact, which a fact can be proven, and if something was an opinion. An opinion is what you think. Everyone has their opinion on something, but opinions cannot be proven to be right and true. First, we are going to describe a few animals, and this involves critical thinking because we have to stop and pause and think, and we have to know the knowledge of the animal. And then we are going to use true or false. And with true and false, this involves critical thinking because we have to think about what I will say to analyze it and see if it's actually a true fact or if it's false. So if something is true, that means that it is a fact and it can be proven. If something is false, it can be an opinion or it can also be a fact because if it's false, you were able to prove that it's false and we are able to find the actual fact for it. So we will start off with describing animals. We are going to describe 6 animals. I will give you 2, and then you will give me another way to describe that animal. Our first animal is a rhino. So let's take 5 seconds to think about what a rhino looks like. 5 seconds starting now. Okay, so have you thought about what a rhino looks like? My 2 are a rhino has a horn and it has 4 legs. What's yours? That's a good one. Our next animal is a zebra. I will say 2, and then you will give me 1. Let's take 5 seconds to think about what a zebra looks like. Okay, mines are zebras are white and they have stripes. Can you give me one more? Great job. Our next animal is a hippopotamus or a hippo. Let's take 5 seconds to think about what a hippo looks like. I got mine. So my 2 are hippos have big teeth and hippos have a big mouth so they can eat and chomp down on things. What's yours? Good job. Our next animal is a tiger. So we're going to take 5 seconds to think about what a tiger looks like. Don't yell it out loud if you have it already. Let's take 5 seconds to think about what it looks like. If you have yours already, just wait 1 second so I can think of my two. 5 seconds starting now. I have mine. Tigers are black and tigers are orange. What's yours? Great. Two more animals to go. Our next animal is a panda. Ready? 5 seconds. Beginning now. Wow. I have mine. My two are the same for a zebra. Zebras are black and white, and so are pandas. Isn't that interesting? What's yours? Good job. Our last animal is a pig. We're going to take 5 seconds to think about what a pig looks like. Ready, set, go. I have mine. Pigs are pink and they have a coiled tail, a tail that is spiral. What's yours? Good job. With our describing animals, we did a great job. I like all your ways that you can describe different animals. That was great. Now we are going to go on to true or false. I have 6 examples of things that can be either true or false. I will read it to you twice, and then you will tell me if you think it's true or false. If it is false, tell me why. I will give you 5 seconds to think of your answer. Our first one is, cheetahs are the fastest animal. Cheetahs are the fastest animal. 5 seconds, beginning now. If you said true, then you're correct. Cheetahs are the fastest animal. Next, George Washington was the second president. George Washington was the second president. 5 seconds, go. Okay, 5 seconds is up. Was George Washington the second president? Is that true or false? If you said false, tell me why. If you said true, it's okay. You can get the next one. But the answer is false. George Washington was the first president. Next, Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. If you need more time to answer these questions, you can pause the video at any time. Or if you need to look up the answer, which is okay, you can also pause the video. 5 seconds, beginning now. The answer to that question is true. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Next question is, Thomas Edison created the light bulb. Thomas Edison created the light bulb. Ready? 5 seconds, beginning now. Time's up. What's your answer? If you said true, That is correct. Thomas Edison did create the light bulb. Our last one is, in space you can cry. In space you can cry. 5 seconds beginning now. Okay. This question was a little hard. So if you didn't get this one right, it's okay. We will have more games in the weeks to come. The answer to this question is false. We cannot cry in space because there's no gravity. Isn't that interesting? I didn't know that before today. Did you? Now we will talk about the 5 W's before ending our video. The 5 W's are who, what, when, where, and why. And these 5 W's are things that we use in everyday life. So before the end of the video, I want you to think about where we use the question of who, what, where, when, and why. Okay, so ways that we use the questions who is when we're reading a book, you may say, who is the main character in the book? Where we can use what is when when reading a book, you may say, what's going to happen next? We use when reading a book when we're trying to figure out when did something happen in a book or when did something change in a book. We use the where for the location. Where is the story taking place? Is it in the South? Is it in the North? Is it in another country? And we use why to ask the question, why did something happen in a book? Those are the 5 W's. Lastly, before ending the video, I'm going to give you 8 tips to be an awesome critical thinker. First, slow down the pace. Second, pose a question of the day. Next, make a response box. Take a side. Ask why, and why is one of our 5 W's. You can role play. Go hitchhiking. And by hitchhiking, I mean make an issue and then have someone else say something about the issue, and you just continue to go off of that and post it on a board going up higher and higher like that, and that's what I mean by hitchhiking. Lastly, turn around think strategy. What I mean by the turn around think strategy, that is when you start something, ask yourself the question, what good can this do for me? Or what good can this do? Like if your mom or dad or someone asks you to clean up your room before going somewhere, say to yourself, what good will cleaning my room do? Okay, guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for coming and joining with me today to learn more about critical thinking. Hope you come back for more videos. See you guys later. Bye.